Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. I'm dropping everything on the floor as we speak. How are we all doing? It's a lovely day out there. Well, it is here in Gloucestershire. I can see a few clouds, but the sun is out. It's a little damp, but the sun is out, and that's the main thing. Let's check I am in the right place. And just quickly share it over to my group. Bit of shadowing going on. Just bear with me while I just send this over to my VIP group so they can follow along with me live as well. There we go, all done. Nice shot of my arm in there. How are we doing? Right, so today, this is the second round of my Stamp and Chat. And this month for October, we're focusing on the love of leaves. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I am loving this stamp set. It's just fab. I love the leaves in there. I think they're great for feminine cards, masculine cards. Just brilliant. Just brilliant. I'm just thinking I need to mute my computer. Otherwise I'm going to be listening to myself. So second round, the first 5 weeks went really quickly. Thank you to everyone who participated in that. I hope you've enjoyed following along. Even if you haven't been able to stamp live with me, of course, you can catch up on the saved version, on the replay, or you can head over to my YouTube channel, catch up on them all over there. So let's make a little start on what we're doing. So the Love of Leaves does come with a die set. This is the card we're going to be making today. So if you're joining me live, let's have a look. I know I've spoken to a few of you. Some of you have got appointments, some of you are working, and you've got other things going on, life getting in the way as per usual. So I know that you're going to be on the replay, on the catch up. But if you're here listening to me, do say hello. It's nice to know that someone's there stamping along with me, and someone to chat to as well at the same time. So if you are joining me live, you need to pull out your card bag for week number 1. So hello Ruby, how are you this morning? Have you been out on the dog walk yet? Bit damp this time of the morning for that. So right, so pull out card bag number 1. Everybody, for those who have not participated in this, everybody has received their Bumblebee ink pad or an ink pad of their choice if they already own that one, and the lovely Love of Leaves stamp set. We've also got some embellishments, some linen thread, one of my all-time favourites, and some of the gold, if I can pick them up, the gold enamel dots as well, which are lovely. So everybody's received a quarter of a pack of those. And what else? So, and then also the kits, pre-cut kits, ready to create live with me. So let's find the stamps that we're using today. So we're using this lovely big leaf image, and we are also using the little hello. So you need to locate those 2 stamp sets. I don't think I've done anything on the inside of mine yet, but we will decide what we're doing when we get to that point. Okay, let's find a couple of blocks. Now maybe I could have done with a bigger block for this one. That would be, let me grab a larger block. It's not very clean. So I was thinking that one would be ready. I think you probably could get away with a D block. Let's just see. I think if you haven't got a large block, this is an E block. If you don't have that, you could get away by twisting your stamp onto your block. Hope you can see that. But I think I'm just going to pick it up on this big one to make it easier, and then I just want a smaller one for my hello greeting. So we are using, I'll just show you the set of dies, because some of you did purchase this die set to go along with their kits. It's really brilliant. Obviously there are lots of dies that coordinate. Where's my stamp gone? So you can see this die will cut out, and then you can add the stitched detail to it as well, which is beautiful. I will say it does finish it off, but you've got this lovely like background texture, so it doesn't actually cut, it kind of embosses and adds lots of stitches, and we are using that today, so you will see that. So those are the stitched leaves dies. I believe they are £33, so a really good addition to this kit. Okay, so we've got a Whisper White base today. So to start with, let's fold this one in half. Where's my bone folder gone? There it is. It was camouflaged. Ruby, you're going on your walk later. I know, I think I am still really nervous about going out on my own because we are quite rural here. So I like to go when I've got someone with me. I was actually thinking of asking on our village group whether there is a group of people that are off out on their dog walks together so that you're not alone. So I think that might be a good thing to do, just for a bit of security, because the dog thefts are still happening, sadly. So now I've folded my base, we'll put that to one side. So in your kits should look like this. Your piece will already be embossed, and this layer you should already have, let's just grab the die, this die on here. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to bring my cut and emboss machine into view because it just wobbles everything. So I'm going to place it on and show you where I'm laying it down, and then I'm just going to turn around behind me to my I nearly said Big Shot machine then, oops, Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and just run this through really quickly. That did move, I'm just going to straighten it. Just so that you don't get the wobble. Have a bit of a squeak going on with mine. I'm back, and then we get this piece and we literally pull it out. Let's pop that back on my magnetic sheet, and then you may have this, guys, on the pieces I've sent you. Just the bits, and these bits that get stuck in the holes, they're just from my die cut plate, bits of paper that have got stuck in. That is slightly crooked, but I'm not going to grumble too much about that. So that's our layer that's going to go down on here. So you guys who are stamping live, you can stick this layer straight down. In fact, I'm going to do that now before we lose it. So a bit of Tombow on the back, or of course glue of your choice, and then just lay this down with a nice even border. Morning, Ellie, how are you? Are you not working today? Are you in your craft cabin? Is that straight? I think it looks like it's not straight because I didn't lay my die down very straight. But once we've got everything on there, hopefully the eye will be distracted by the other pieces that are on there. So I'm waiting on catch up to see what Ellie's up to today. Okay, next layer is this lovely, oh, there's a little mark on the back there. I'll make sure I run it through this way. So we're using just grabbing them, embossing folders from the Forever Greenery suite. And when these first came out, I was just in love with them straight away. These are designed to go in the new mini Stampin' Cut emboss machine when it comes. We have no news at the moment when it's coming, but believe me, as soon as I know, I will let you know. Ellie says she's not working, she's catching up on house jobs and laundry and tidying. well, that's a bit boring, but obviously it has to get done. I'm sure you don't get much time over the weekends with all those children home from school. So, oh bless you. Hope you get to spend a bit of time in your cabin this evening maybe. But still nice to have a day off work though. And a lovely one at that. A great one to get some washing out as well. So, right, let's just bring in my die cutting layers again. Now, for embossing, I love how these platforms explain everything to us. So for embossing, just with a standard embossing folder, we need to take away the plate number 2, pop that to one side, and then we just have our 2 number 3 plates. Now I need to make sure I've got this the right way around. I do love soft sea foam. It's a lovely pale green. So I'm just going to lay this down and just run this through my machine quickly. You'll hear the squeak. I don't know whether mine needs a bit of an oiling. Okay, I'm back. Ellie, you picked up a new car on Saturday. Oh wow, I thought you'd not long had a new car actually. How lucky, how exciting. Okay, here's my layer. Ready to go on. I think actually we can stick this layer straight down. So a bit of Tombow on here. I'm kind of going against my grain today. Normally I do all my stamping, all my die cutting, and then stick them together. Right, how high do we want this? About here. A bit of Tombow. Go over the edge then. Slightly bothering me that this is crooked, so like I say, once everything's down, I don't think I'll notice it. Okay, next in your kits you have these 2 strips. So you've got a shorter strip of crumb cake and then a slightly longer, skinnier strip of grey granite. So our grey granite piece is simply just going to lay straight down. But then you need to take your snips and trim a little take the end off. My words won't come out today. And then we literally, oh, I've done that the wrong way around. Going to stick that one down there like that. So we can go ahead and do that. So a bit of Tombow. I'm not going to go right to the edges because I haven't actually stuck these pieces down. They're kind of just hovering. So I'm going to just pop Tombow towards the middle. And lay it down. How are we doing? Is anybody actually stamping with me live, or are you just going to catch up later? Ruby, are you stamping live, or are you just taking it easy this morning and going to catch up later? So what card did you get, Ellie? I'm intrigued. We're going to lay this crumb cake piece down. Bit of Tombow on the back of there. That. Let's just line that with my grid and make sure it's straight. There we go. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned because I'm expecting a parcel this morning and I'm supposed to be signing for it, but my postman quite often will put things in my safe box outside, but I'm just thinking he may well ring the gate, which means he's going to ring my phone and I'm going to have to ignore him. So I'm hoping that he leaves it for me and I'm not going to have to go and collect it from somewhere. So, okay, what are we doing next? Let's do a bit of stamping. Let's pop you to one side. So hopefully you've located a block and located the right stamp that I showed you at the beginning. And then you need to grab your ink. Now I know a couple of you had other yellow inks and you didn't choose the bumblebee, you choose another option. So you're substituting, but it will work totally fine, whatever colour yellow that you've got handy. So, Ellie, you've bought an electric Mercedes. Ooh, that's very interesting. You're going to have to send me a picture in the group chat later. Do love a Mercedes. And electric too, that's great. That's really good. Oh, morning, Belle. How are you? Nice to see you on here. Embrace the crooked. Oh, Belle, it's so hard. It's so hard, honestly, because being quite OCD, I find it a challenge when something doesn't quite go down as I'd like it to. In fact, do you remember, for those of you that followed along with the last round of Stampin' Chat, I didn't realise until I was going live that the card we were doing that day actually was on a bit of a wonk. So afterwards I did cut the back off the card and trimmed around the edge, and I remounted the whole of the front layer so that it wasn't crooked. Is that really bad? Is it really bad to be so OCD? Anyway, I will have to embrace it for this time because there's too many layers on here to pull off and start again. So locate your stamp under your ink. Now you have, in your kits you had scraps or sheets of Whisper White cardstock, so you should have plenty for all of the cards in this series. So let's just move this in shot. Ink up, bit of a wobble. I thought when I bought the tables here for my studio that they were quite sturdy, but it's not actually until I've started filming that I've realised just how unstable they are. But there we go. Right, let's stamp this one down. Now I am going to show you second generation. In case, like me, I'm not a huge fan of yellow. It's a hard colour for me to work with, just because it's quite bright for me. I'm definitely a subtles girl. So this was the original stamp, and then I stamped again without re-inking. So this is the second generation. So I love how distinctive this stamp is. It's got depth to it, and I think it's really clever that Stampin' Up! have done this with our stamps so that it looks almost 3D, like it's popping out to you. So I think that's really clever. So which one shall I use? I'm going to embrace, as I need to embrace the wonk, as Belle says. I'm going to embrace the darker one. So those of you that have got your die sets, you can use this die to cut out your flower leaf, and if you'd like to, you can also put the embossed cutting die over it as well, which will give you a different finish. But for today, because some of you don't have the dies, I'm going to fussy cut. And you all know how much I love a bit of fussy cutting. My original card, I did use the die, but just for those who don't own the dies yet, you may well need to own the dies after the next few cards in this series of Stampin' Chat, because it is just such a lovely set. And by me doing a bit of fussy cutting, it gives some of you a bit of a chance to hop on, have a chat, and catch up if you're not moving at the same pace as I am. Let's just cut that bit off. It's getting in the way. So what have we all been up to? Do you all have a good weekend? We've had a bit of rain, haven't we? Gosh, have we had a bit of rain. We were very lucky. We had the grandchildren over yesterday, which is so lovely, and we went over to Pittville Park in Cheltenham, which is just the best park on the planet. It's lovely. So many, different things to go on. Trampolines built into the ground. They've got a little like takeaway cafe where you can get coffees and hot chocolates and ice creams. Vivi insisted on having a chocolate waffle cone even though it was drizzly and we were all pretty damp. Coles and I had a hot chocolate to warm us up, but it was lovely. It was lovely being out in the fresh air. The sun did come out. We did have, a bit of drizzle. Vivi ended up with a very wet bum from going down the slide, but she didn't care. She was just loving life and enjoying it. So, but there's also some huge cages over there with birds and rabbits in, so it's just such a lovely place to go. And then on top of that is just a beautiful pond, so we took some bread and we fed the ducks as well. So it was a really lovely long morning out. So yeah, very thankful to have them come and stay with us. So I fussy cut my big leaf. Now, as I said, if you would like to, if you've got the die set, you could run this through and it just gives you a lovely finish, but it's not a necessity. So I'm just going to lay that to one side, and this one I'm going to save for a project later. What's next? Another bit of die cutting. So bringing the dies back in the die set we have these two leaves. So we have the leaf, we have a leaf stamp here, but we also have a die that cuts it out. Now this one is actually not the right one. We have two, and as you can see, I lay them down on here, they are opposites. They are not the same. So you just need to locate the correct inner piece because they are slightly different. So put those to one side, and I'm just going to take one of these dies, and while I've got my put that away, while I'm going to be doing some die cutting, I'm also using the Tasteful Labels dies, which I go to all the time. I don't know if any of you own this die set, but it's fabulous. It's just got some really good, useful label tag shapes that are brilliant. So I'm going to use this little circle and just cut out in Whisper White. Let's see whether this piece, I can use this little scrap just to do my greeting on. Let's just grab my layers. So a piece of Mossy Meadow, so this green is Mossy Meadow, and it's quite forgiving. I need my number 2 plate underneath. So this doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, but just somewhere near is good. And I cut them both together, so it's going to cut out the shape of the leaf and it's going to add the stitched detail to it. So let's just line that in. Just going to take that to my machine and quickly run that through. Lost that for a minute. I mean, this in itself is really pretty. Lovely little decorative circle. And let's take that out of the way so you can see. You also get a really lovely negative, which you could trim around, or you could cut these out and actually add these to your projects onto cards or onto your scrapbooking pages. So always think about what you're throwing away, because quite often there's a use for it. Let's just push that one out and peel that one off. Look how stunning that is. Can you see that? Is the light good enough? Got a bit of a shadow. I need to maybe work on where I'm actually doing my live from in here, because I have light coming from all directions, so it's hard not creating a shadow. So let's stamp on here. So bring your ink pad back in, locate your hello stamp. If you don't want the hello, there are other lovely greetings in this set, and you don't have to use this piece that I've supplied. You can just use a piece of scrap, a long skinny strip, and add a greeting. Just want to mount that a little bit straighter because it helps if it's straight on your block. And I'm just going to do the hello twice. One. And then try and line up the second one, like so. Are you all still with me? Anybody else new joining us? Okay, so that's our greeting done. We've got our leaf. Next, I've included in the kits a couple of punched flowers. This is the small bloom punch. Honestly, I love this punch. We did have one a while ago. I think it was called Petite Petals. Similar to this, it had more pointed petals on the flower, but such a useful punch to have, and it's really good for me for sending out kits because it's something that's quick and easy to punch out and include. So let's find some scrap. I've got that bit here. I've also got another. Get one out of this bit. So you want to find your two flowers, and I can use the corner of here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love a die that coordinates with a stamp set, but a punch can just be so quick and easy sometimes. It's just easy to reach for it and punch something out. So I think that's our stamped pieces and elements. So I'm just going to move my ink pad out of the way for the moment and bring all of these back in. Now, those of you that have had your kits in the post, you received a quarter of a pack of the gold enamel dots. Now there's quite a lot, even just in a quarter. You can see I've used some of them, and I've got a couple of odd pieces that I'm going to be using up along the way as well. But they're just really lovely. Love that you get a good variety of sizes. So we're going to be popping some of those on. But I think first of all, let's lay our leaf where we want it to be. I like to turn the edges up on these, and then I'm literally just popping a bit of Tombow on the back there, and that's going to hide that bit of Tombow that oozed out. Just lay that one down there. Just be mindful, you don't want anything hanging too far over the edge, because this does have to fit inside your envelope, so you don't want to have things hanging too far over. Next, I think I'm going to pop in this greeting, because then that will determine where my flowers are going. So I've used dimensionals on the back of here. Pop 3 under just so that it's nicely balanced. Take off the backs. Lost my bin. I put my little table bin out of reach, and it's stupid, but I feel a bit lost without it. I like having it right, let's go a bit lower, like having it right next to me, just literally here, and then all my little bits just get thrown straight in. I guess it means that I can throw them and hopefully they're going to get in there because it's so close. This leaf we're just going to pop behind here, so a bit of Tombow, don't need too much, just so that it's poking out like that. Now, some of you may already have Mossy Meadow ink as well, so your option could be to actually stamp it rather than using my die cut. You could use this stamped image and then die cut it out or hand cut it if you don't want to have too many die cuts. But it was quite a challenge putting this kit together using just one ink pad. So I wanted obviously for you to be able to create all of my cards only using the products that I've sent you. But of course, if you've got Mossy Meadow ink, you may want to do your greeting in a different colour. So you've got lots of different options, but the idea is that you can create everything I'm doing just with the products that I've supplied for you. Take your flowers, turn the edges up. I like to use my Tombow lid because it's just the right size, and then quite a bit of glue on the back, and we'll share that between both of those. And we're going to lay those down just to hide the stem of the leaf, like that. And then I'm going to pick up both of these. I think I've used 2 large dots. Are these enamel dots? Yeah, I'm still in the mode of gems we were using last time. So these are enamel dots. So I've used 2 of the same, but because I've got this little lonely one left on here, I'm tempted just to use that one, and then it's done, out of the way, and I'm not going to lose it. There we go. Let's just turn those edges back up to give it a nice bit of 3D, until of course it goes in the envelope and gets posted, and then it gets slightly flattened. So you've all got some linen thread included. Now, linen thread used to come, for those of you that remember, it used to come on a little cardboard piece. So it was wrapped around, probably the width of here, but now it comes on a roll. It's quite springy, it's got a curl to it. But I will say, if you just run your nail along it, it will straighten out. So just be aware of that. Don't think that you're struggling to control your piece of linen thread, when all you need to do is just help it straighten out a bit. Trying to talk and tie a bow at the same time. Let's pull that one a bit. When I tie a bow, if you hold the middle, you can pull these ends to make your bow larger and smaller. So depending on how big you want it, once you've tied it, pinch it in the middle where the knot is, and then you can just gently pull it until it gets to the right length. I know a lot of you struggle tying a bow. Let's have those roughly the same. It's a bit bigger now, like that. And we're going to lay this one down just here. A glue dot is always really good for ribbons and threads, and as you will see me do before, I just like to roll it and then pop it down where I want it, and then just pop my bow over the top. So there we go. I think the outside of the card is done. Bits of die cuts from the stitched. There's still a few bits in there if you see. If you've got the die brush, you could brush those out quite easily, or give it a good tap on the table before you lay it down to get all of the pieces out. So that's the front of our card done. I think on the inside, let's choose a greeting. I really like this one. Your friendship is something I know I can count on. And because my card isn't actually stating it's for a birthday or anything specific, I think that greeting will work quite well for me today. Don't need that big block. So I'm just going to pull this one out. Line that one up. Locate my ink. Because, you know, we don't have to send a card just because it's a birthday. We can send a card just because you're thinking of someone, maybe somebody you know is going through an extra tough time. And just by sending a card can really put a smile on someone's face, just to know that you care. So always remember that, how nice it is to receive something in the post that somebody's made. Bit of Tombow on the back. And we are nearly there. I don't know how we're doing for time. 10:35, about the usual. Seem to manage to keep these to about 35 minutes. There we go. And of course you guys have your envelopes included. I'm going to do up this ink pad before my crooked card gets dipped in it. So you guys who purchased the kit, you received another little sponge wedge as well. So we're going to be using that on some cards that are coming up. So there we go. This is the first card of the Love of Leaves Stampin' Chat. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me do this, or I hope you've enjoyed stamping along. So let's just share with you what's happening in the world of Stampin' Up at the moment. So you may have seen on my Facebook page, you may have seen via email, we've got a lovely paper sale at the moment. So it's from the beginning of the month right the way through to the end, and we've got 15% off a selection of DSP packs, which is really great. So thanks, Belle. Thank you for your lovely comment. I do love this stamp set. You know me, I get engrossed in something and then I can't put it down, but I think that's a good thing, because the more I share it, the more ideas you guys will see me using it with as well. So yep, so the paper sale, I am placing an order this evening. So if you're local and you can collect anything from me, or I can drop it while I'm out and about, and it will save you the delivery charge, then please do let me know. Good opportunity to take up on the DSP sale. You can of course shop online with me. Don't forget to use my host code, which I've popped up here. Hope you can see that in the shot. And I was just going to share with you a class that I've got coming. Well, it's actually live now. It's on my website today. Emails will be going out as well. This is my Love of Leaves class in the post. So there's 4 note cards and envelopes as part of the class, and I just thought I'd share this one with you. So similar colours to what we're using. I'm using grey granite and the bumblebee, and petal pink as well. So that's one of the note cards. So all the details are on my blog. I will put a link down below in the description of everything that I've used today. And I think with that note, I will bid you farewell and hope to catch up with you soon. So take care, everybody. Bye for now.